Hi, welcome back to Moose in Chemistry. Today's lesson is Dilution Problems Lesson 1. This deals with dilutions, which means we're changing the molarity of a solution by adding or subtracting water to the solution, for example. Okay, so the equation that we're really interested in is M1V1 equals M2V2. I know there are other ones out there, but we're going to start with this one. So what we need to know is, first of all, M1, V1, M2, V2. So let's figure out what our players are. So we're adding 30 milliliters of water to 125 milliliters of water. So our original amount is 125 milliliters. Our second volume would be 155 milliliters. Our original molarity was 0.15, and we want to know what the new molarity is going to be. So we're going to take this equation here, and we're going to isolate for M2. So let's see here, that'll be M2 equals M1 V1 over V2. So now we just plug in our units. M2 equals 0.15 M. Let's make that M capital M. Times our first volume, which is 125 milliliters, divided by our combined volume, which is 155 milliliters. So they cancel out. Let's take our calculator and put this together and see what happens. So let's see here. 0.15 times 125 divided by 155, and we get, of course, 0.12 molarity for the H2SO4. And that makes sense because we're adding more water to it, so our molarity should go down because we're diluting it. Okay, let's look at our second question here. If I add water to 150 milliliters of a 1.5 molarity calcium hydroxide solution until the final volume is 300 milliliters, what will the molarity of the diluted solution be? Okay, again, we set up M1V1 equals M2V2. So let's figure out who's who. M1, V1, M2, V2. Alright, so our first molarity is 1.5 M. And our first volume was 150 milliliters. Our second volume was 300 milliliters. And we're looking for M2. So M2 equals M1 V1 over V2. So M2 equals 1.5 M times our V1, 150 milliliters, divided by 300 milliliters. So our milliliters cancel out, and our new molarity is going to be, put in the calculator, 0.75 molarity of CaOH. And this problem makes sense because we're adding more water to the solution. We're going from 150 milliliters to 300 milliliters, which will dilute the calcium hydroxide. Alright guys, I hope you have an amazing day, and we'll see you back here at Moose in Chemistry.